Hello and welcome to Triple Tap Gaming, a podcast about games, industry and culture. We are your hosts Azan,
Adib,
and Izhar.
Right, how are we doing, boys?
Not bad.
Very good. I'm feeling good today, man. How about yourself?
You're feeling good today? Why are you feeling good today?
I just went to the gym and have that post-gym glow. So
shit!
All
shit!
all
There
the
are people who go,
endorphins, just
there
like,
are people who go
yeah.
gym. Fuck you, Azan.
well, you know what? It's okay. I'll be that dickhead. That guy who counts his calories in an app and tells people to
MyFitnessPal,
literally.
I mean, that's fine.
App,
That's totally fine. It's the whole, let me just take my entire Instagram portfolio is just me in the gym.
Oh, just you. Oh, that is me. Have you seen my stories? It's like, hey guys, I'm at the gym. Hey guys, I can skip.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm at the gym again.
You're always wearing a fucking vest.
At least I'm self-aware of me just being a gym snob.
It's very motivational. It just makes me think, I should be at the gym and not eating Doritos.
As you're like shoveling in the Ben and Jerry's. You know?
Halo Top is the way to go.
Oh, Halo Top is
nice. Yeah,
godsend.
Good stuff.
Halo Top is good, yeah. I've not actually tried Halo Top, actually. Is it good?
Halo Top. No. Oh my god. Okay, Halo Top is a lifesaver. So
we're not sponsored by Halo Top, by the way.
We are not sponsored by. If you want to sponsor us, you can. But yeah, we could be.
But listen, no, we could be. But the thing is with Halo Top is that the entire tub's like 380 calories. The entire thing. Ben & Jerry's is like 1,000 and something, right? And it tastes very good. Like, obviously, it's not going to be as creamy or as like. I was going to say voluptuous, but I meant like decadent as like a Ben & Jerry's.
Voluptuous.
It's not as voluptuous as a Ben & Jerry's.
I hope you're not fucking the ice cream.
But it's fucking beautiful. Try it out. Peanut butter cup's the best one.
Again, we're not. Just to clarify, we're not sponsored by Halo Top.
We're
if
not.
you want to sponsor us? Let us know.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's the news? What's the latest?
Video games, right?
Video game
awards.
Awards.
I think that's what our podcast is about.
What? Say what?
No, I think it's about ice cream. So.
No. It's
any gaming news, lads? Any gaming news?
Well,
TGA's the Video Game Awards.
And Cyberpunk. Yeah. We've been playing our PS5s. Last time we had the podcast, we were talking about how we got a PS5 and all of that, but
I was struggling, he was failing, Azan was failing to get the PS5.
I still don't have a fucking PS5, so fuck you guys.
I've been seeing him like a bunch of tweets by like PS5 stock alert. He's like, oh, hey guys, I just checked the stock. Nothing at Argos today. And he's like liking that tweet, like, yeah, fuck yeah. No stock till New Year's. Woo!
It's so annoying.
My friend managed to jump on German Amazon. He's like started to go on other sites from different countries to try and like get an Xbox Series X. He managed to try Italian Amazon, was sold out, but he managed to go on Amazon.de and get himself a Xbox Series X, and he has successfully got it.
I think that's too much effort. That's too much work.
But you know what it is?
But
like
being shipped from Europe and other places anyway.
No. It's crazy because, like, I should be playing it and treasuring it a lot more than I am. I haven't played it for, like, the last 2-3 days. Like, actually play a game on it. I still use it as, like, a Netflix, Crunchyroll, YouTube machine. Still. I could do that on my PS3. Like, I'm such a dickhead. I have a whole PS5.
So, you've been playing Cyberpunk, right, Adib? How is it?
I have. It's, okay. So, Cyberpunk on the PS5... It's clearly, obviously, been made for the PC because everyone with a PC is like loving it. Like, honestly, the PS5, you can clearly tell like it's a PS4 game that's just been slightly up-res. They're not going to come out with a full PS5 optimized full version until 2021, is what they've said. And it's crashed on me a few times. Like, I'd say like once every hour there's a crash.
Shit, okay, that's not good.
But again, that's totally
though,
fine.
Yeah?
It's a PS5, so it crashes, you jump on, you're back in, like, within seconds.
No, but
so
that's
it's chill.
Worrying, dude, because, like, it's PS4 and Xbox One owners are, like, the majority, and a lot of people who are buying that game who don't have £1,000 PCs, like certain dickheads in this chat, me, but if they don't have that, it's just like, okay, well, it runs at, like, 720p at 12 frames per second, and there's like 4 NPCs out on the streets and like 2 cars, and it still crashes. It's like, what's
And all the
going on?
NPCs look like mannequins, and they have no facial detail at all. Sometimes
Like, it's crazy because like The Witcher looks better. As in, obviously, I haven't seen it in person, but I feel like The Witcher runs and looks so much better on PS4.
Sure, okay, here's the thing. Probably like it's patches, like it's an early game. And think about all the crunching they've done. We need to get into that another time.
Definitely.
But the fucking culture there. But like, you know, the way that they've been crunching, you know, the developers, and basically like it's gonna be better. It's just weird culture now where games are better. It's like wine. It's like their wine. It's like they're better with a bit of age after a couple of updates, a bit of time. They
Some
finally become
DLCs
good.
thrown in.
And
Yeah,
you know what,
like
yes, you know, yeah. You go
it
ahead.
is fairly buggy. Like there are some really fun bugs in there though. Like I was playing the game, and then all of a sudden, I was just watching this guy eat while he was talking to me. You know, eating with chopsticks. And the next thing you know, he's got 4 chopsticks in his hand, and then he goes back to 2 chopsticks, and then he's eating again, and then he's eating with 4 chopsticks, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? There are some
Duplication
unfortunate bugs, because obviously, like in Cyberpunk, it's a very much an 18+ game. Like the entire game is very NSFW in a lot of ways. And
how big did you make
like
it?
3 tits, and you're like, what the fuck?
I just went with the
happened here?
defaults. I just went with the defaults, you know.
There's a very big question here. How big did you make your penis, Adib?
I just went with the default, you know.
No,
like,
dude.
Oh, sure.
Dude, we can't be asking these sorts of questions.
He
Why
went
not?
With he went.
No, we have to ask, was it circumcised or uncircumcised? That's the real question we have to be asking.
That is
Come
the
on, bro.
ultimate question. Did you stay true to your faith, Adib?
Alhamdulillah, yes I did.
He went circumcised.
Circumcised.
I don't know it any other
On
way.
the fucking game.
Bro,
Speaking of which,
are you kidding me? I am going uncircumcised
I
like
want to see what that's
instantly.
like. Yeah.
I'm surprised there weren't
If
any
I
more
can't
options.
live-
I wanted that glowing in the dark UV light one that
He
they had
wanted
in that
to see-
cosplay competition.
But basically, the default settings, right? Adib thought, okay, right, so the default settings is clearly a little bit bigger than mine. So let me just see what it looks like if it was just like 1 or 2 inches bigger.
Jesus, I've heard this multiple
Realistic
times
dreams.
with just like, is this a stereotype of Asian people where it's like a small one but then it's a grower? Like, is that an actual thing? Because I've heard it 3 times this week in conversation.
Hello and welcome to Triple Tap Penis Podcast.
Where we talk about, is your penis circumcised or uncircumcised in Cyberpunk 2077?
Yeah.
No, but listen, let's talk about the Game Awards quickly.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
We watched it together.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it. We had a lot of
For the wrong reasons.
very dumb jokes. But other than that,
Yeah, I hate you
Okay,
guys.
before we get into the dumb jokes, what do we think? I mean, like Last of Us picked up basically
well, as
everything.
in-
Game of the Year, main.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we get
The
that
Last
to
of Us
that?
and Ghost of Tsushima.
Should we get to that
Anyways.
last before
Okay.
what opened up with the Game Awards?
Oh my God,
Honestly, I almost
Seth
finished watching the Game Awards in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was
That's the
like,
main
I'm
reason
done. I don't need to
we're
watch
watching
anything
it.
else.
Like, we love Smash Bros. And yeah, they were announcing a new DLC character. Sephiroth. He was announced, and we were like losing our shit because we're huge Final Fantasy fans. At least me and Azan. I guess Adib as well.
I am familiar with Sephiroth, and
Sephiroth?
I've been fans. You know, big
Dude,
ass sword.
what a sexy antagonist.
The anime
That you
sword
could put.
fighter.
Like,
Basically,
Cloud's
well-
cool and all, but
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't think he's going to be like your traditional anime sword fighter. He's going to
he's
be
not.
something else.
He's not. Cause
He's not. He's absolutely
not.
if what the DLC season pass has proven has that it's been pretty awesome, unique integrations of new mechanics of DLC characters. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Like look at for example, obviously Minecraft Steve has a whole mining mechanic, and then you have what's his name, Hero, who plays like a turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
Absurd. Absolutely insane.
And then like
Ah,
season
really
2 of
good.
the Fires Pass has been very unique. Like none of us really predicted what would happen. Obviously they told us with the Arms character that Min Min was going to be in, like, no, there was an Arms character, so we predicted Min Min. That was fine.
Yeah.
But then Steve came in, broke Twitter, literally crashed Twitter for a few minutes because of the hype.
Yeah.
And then we were just thinking, okay, that's fine. I don't know how they're going to top this or, whatever. But I don't think anyone was expecting Sephiroth. Like, I remember when I was watching it, I was like, what? This is insane. It's like one of those picks I didn't think I'd want until I saw it, and I was like, this is great. And I remember
100%.
specifically, like, we were going to watch it together, and Azan was coming back home, and I was like, Azan, do not go on the internet, do not go anything, because me and Izhar both saw it, and we were like, all right, Azan, let's just go back, and I just wanted to see your live reactions, and I was not impressed. I was not disappointed. It was great.
I was
and then you two were arguing over who'd pick him as the main.
Oh yeah, I mean it's 100% good. It's going to be me.
Him. I am maining him.
Okay,
fine. You can main him, but I'm just going to main him better. I don't want to tell you about this.
I don't care how fucking good you are at Smash.
You can't even finish The Last of Us, let alone commit to getting good at Smash.
I swear to God, I don't care what I don't finish. The one thing I'm sure that I will finish is you and Smash Bros.
Whoa.
That's it. That is all I'm committing to finishing.
Oh, so you're gonna finish me, are you? Right.
He's gonna smash you.
Circumcised or uncircumcised?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so, I mean, okay, Sephiroth, we're happy about that. So
The Last of Us won everything.
One big.
And a lot of people were kind of pissed off about that. I mean, come on, like, yes, you're angry at that spoiler. I won't mention it because maybe you guys haven't played it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing that happens in the game that everyone's pissed off about. And get over it, you little pussies. It's an amazing game, a technical masterpiece.
I was saying this to you guys the other day, but you know, and I'm not afraid to say it, but I'm afraid, the sad reality is that there are too many parts of the gaming community that are just so toxic. And importantly, for this game, homophobic, and it fucking sucks. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, the one fucking opportunity there is to do a bit of representation, and everybody goes fucking mad and review bombs. Like, it's absurd.
I know, yeah.
Like, how are we going to move forward like this? It's just, it's not acceptable. So, given that, I'm happy that they won big at the Game Awards because they deserved it.
I also had a really interesting criticism of it as well. It's like obviously, you might be aware of the fact that The Last of Us and Naughty Dog basically crunched their staff quite hard. Yeah. And I guess they did. So one of the criticisms I've heard is they didn't really want the recognition for the award, because in a way, by awarding The Last of Us, you're kind of awarding crunch time, saying that this is good. Whereas a game like Animal Crossing, for example, got delayed by like almost half a year because they didn't want to put their staff through crunch, and that was also one of the nominees. And it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation. Like, if you don't award them, then, all their efforts go to waste, and it's like, whatever. But at the same time, if you do, that's an interesting criticism. But at the end of the day, you can't deny that Last of Us is a technical masterpiece, and it definitely deserves the, recognition and a lot of the awards for it.
Yeah. I feel like if you didn't award it, it's a bit more of a slap in the face. Because, yes, crunch is terrible, but I think that's a separate point to awarding a game for what it is. Their hard work, crunchy or not, is their hard work regardless, right? Yeah. Award it. At the very least, show appreciation for their hard work. Because, yes, crunch can be tackled, and it should be, but you don't tackle it by saying, oh, you worked 60 hours a week to get this game out. Well, fuck you for working hard. Because we hate that you work that hard.
I think there's probably a sweet spot, isn't there?
Definitely.
Yeah. But I think the number one thing that I'm excited about from the Video Game Awards is Vin Diesel Tribal Game.
Vin Diesel Tribal Game.
Vin Diesel Tribal Game.
I hate you guys.
Tribal Game. So Vin Diesel is coming out with a tribal game. If you guys didn't know,
Tribal game.
Tribal game.
You guys said it so
Vin
fast.
Diesel.
I was just trying to pay attention to the awards show, and you guys just kept.
Vin Diesel Tribal Game.
Tribal game.
Vin Diesel game.
Family
Vin
game.
game.
Dinosaur game.
Vin Diesel Tribal Game with dinosaurs.
Okay, just to clarify for everyone, there's not actually a game called Vin Diesel Tribal Game.
Arc 2.
Arc had like the longest trailer ever and just had Vin Diesel in it. So then we just gonna say, oh my god, it's Vin Diesel Tribal Game. The entire, like a 5-minute trailer. Oh my god, Vin Diesel Tribal Game.
They weren't saying the name of the fucking game, so we were just like, okay, so the game must be called Vin Diesel's Tribal Game.
And then me and Hassan are like wheezing out of breath for just saying Vin Diesel Tribal Game over and over again. And seeing his bald head in a game. He shouldn't belong in a game. His face is so
Okay,
dumb.
they clearly tried to recreate the same like hype that they got Keanu for in Cyberpunk for Vin Diesel, but clearly people on the internet don't love Vin Diesel as much as they love Keanu, which is sad. Vin Diesel is a totally lovable guy, loves his video games, loves his D&D.
It is crazy that, a lot more like movie stars are starting to make their way into like actual games. Then.
Yeah,
That's
they've been
pretty
doing
cool.
it pretty hard from the PS3 era. You had Elliot Page in that one game. You had there's quite a few. Beyond Two Souls, and like games are getting more cinematic. Feels like games are getting more and more like movies, especially the single player ones. But
The thing, okay, well, so that I think it's good. It's fun that you mentioned that because even though games are getting more cinematic, movies based on games still suck.
They're like the least cinematic experiences you can go for.
Exactly. So that's our question for this week then.
Yep.
Do video game movies suck?
Do
Transition.
Let's see.
That was so smooth. PowerPoint slide roll.
I'm not editing this in, by the way. This is going to be us being retards.
No.
At this point.
The transition is us going. Video drop game. Okay, so video game movies, do they suck?
I mean, yes. So far they do. Like
I mean, I don't really think it's a question of do they suck, because they fucking do, right? We all know this is universally known fact. But why do they suck? And does it matter that they suck? Because we still enjoy it at a very primal level. Like a really,
for the wrong reasons, though.
level.
But I guess probably the way to talk about this is we'll have to talk about a couple of examples.
Okay.
But also, like, you know, when we say do they suck, and you said yes, I don't know if they all suck. Some of them are not
Detective
bad.
Pikachu's got quite good. Oh. And there is a lot of more video game movies coming out. Like, I think because they hit that sweet spot with Detective Pikachu, and they showed, like, as a proof of concept, oh, this video game movie is good. It's the best one, and it's currently sitting at, like, 67% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a good score overall so far. Like, it's little under certified fresh. Well, 68%.
67, huh?
And I actually really enjoyed that movie. Like, it wasn't the best movie. It was very goofy and silly in some ways, but it was a solid film.
67. That's our gold standard for video game movies.
Well, okay. Do you know what Street Fighter got? Street Fighter got, like, the 1994 version of Street Fighter got like 3%.
I remember trying to watch that as a kid, and they did, like, I think one Hadouken right at the end of the film, or some bullshit
honestly
like that.
So I was watching it a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah.
And it is the shittest thing I've ever seen. It's like, but the thing is, it's so shit. It's kind of addictive. Like, it's just so fucking. But because what it was, and I guess this comes onto the question of why, right? And like, none of it, like, not a single bit of it, was true or genuine to the source material in any way.
Nope.
And I get that this was in 1994, so this was like what Street Fighter 2 was like the main game that had come out, right? So, but why the fuck they just basically what happened? Let me tell you what happened. And I don't know this for a fact, but I'm telling you that this is what happened, right? What happened was they got Jean-Claude Van Damme, and they said, "Do you want to be in a video in a movie about the game Street Fighter?" And he's like, "What is Street Fighter?" I don't know why he's Arnold Schwarzenegger. What is Street Fighter? And they explained to him, it was like, okay. And then he decides to play Guile. And they're like, yeah, we'll just make Guile the main character. And then just make Ryu some fucking American dweeb.
You want to see American twat. And you
want
to see American twat.
I was going to say American twat. No, I changed to dweeb because he's more dweeby than twatty.
Okay, yeah.
Ken is a twat, though. But and then they fucking... And it's just so... None of it makes sense. Why is Sagat a fucking human trafficker? I don't know. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Okay. Here's the thing, right? When it comes to, like, movies, I'm not really a huge moviegoer, right? And I've only watched a handful of the video game movies, so you guys can probably say a lot more than me. But the ones that I have watched were pretty fucking good. And let me get started. So the ones that I remember watching, right? There's 3 or 4, okay? Number 1, the Mortal Kombat movie. All right.
Okay. We're not talking about 2 yet because that was a disaster.
No, 1. Okay.
One was good.
I love that film. Like, I used to love Mortal Kombat anyways as a kid, right? I like, these fatalities are insane. I love, like, over the top blood and gore. I was really into
the soundtrack.
The soundtrack. It was a really good film.
It was quite good, to be fair, yeah.
And, like, my stupid baby doo-doo brain loved anything anyways, as it was, right? I loved anything. I was so easy to please. And that was fantastic, right? As of course, not the best film, but it was good. It's like, a good 60% or something on Rotten Tomatoes, no? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I think it's like, we all enjoyed the Mortal Kombat movie. We knew it wasn't like a great film, but like, it was a lot of fun. It was cheesy in the right way, and it did the franchise justice. Honestly, I think
definitely
that was a fun film, and it definitely popularized Mortal Kombat into like
Even more.
the sort of the norm
More
for a lot of
mainstream.
people, and it was a really fun film. I enjoyed it. Like for a long time, that was the standard for video game movies.
And then
Till
2 came
though
out.
that doesn't really say much good things.
So now I watched 2 shortly after, and I must have been like 9-10 years old when I watched it with my older brother. We used to watch it on like a shitty laptop screen.
Yeah.
Just like we'd have like a little movie night, right? We used to watch stuff, and he hated it. I remember halfway through of the second one, I was like glued to the screen. My stupid doodoo brain was like loving it, right? And then he was just there like, yo, I'm gonna have to leave it here. We'll pick it up tomorrow. Yeah, I'm like, what do you mean, bro? This is sick. Do you see Sindel? Yo, she just came in. She's like whooping everyone's ass, and he's like, yeah, this is so bad. And I'm like, what? I thought this was better than I actually thought it was better than the first. I was like, yo, this is crazy. They had like, what's the name again? The robots.
Yeah.
Not the Cybot. Yeah.
I
What's
know
what they're called, dude?
on the names. I know.
What,
I know.
Cyrax
Yeah.
and Sector?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cyrax, and they all came in. I was like, yo, this is getting sick. Can't wait, right? And he hated it, right? So
Yeah.
then we finished watching that, and I loved it. And you might say, yo, your childhood brain was so easy to please, because it was. But then straight after that, the next day, we watched Akira. So I don't know, and I enjoyed that too. So I guess
You watched
maybe
you watched
yeah.
Akira at 9 years old.
And
Yikes!
oh yeah,
I watched Akira at 9 years old for the first time as well.
Oh, man.
Insane. This is why me and Izar are just completely fucked up in the head.
that's why it's just not normal.
We don't know what the fuck is going on. Okay, fine, right. Mortal Kombat, fine, was good. Okay, I will say this, right?
Yeah.
I think that sometimes, but it doesn't happen too often,
Yeah.
but fan-made versions of certain types of, media tends to be better. So, in the case of Street Fighter, have either of you guys watched Assassin's Fist?
No.
Oh yeah, I
You
think
need
I have. Yeah.
Assassin's Fist is incredible. It is the best adaptation of like video game into movie for a fighting game in particular I've ever seen in my life. Like
That's not
I
saying
loved
much, though, is it?
Fist. It's not. But it genuinely. But the reason why it's so good is because it picks up on the source material, which is number one, the good thing. But the second thing that does, and this is like a genuine issue with like trying to make video games into plots of movies, is that it extends on the plot a bit, right? So it takes the main plot, keeps to it as solidly as it can, but like extends on it just a tiny bit, enough to make it like interesting. I think this is the main issue with so many of the video game movies that we watch, which is that generally speaking the plot is kind of shit in video games.
They're not very good because
anyway.
it services a gameplay perspective, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not really about the story as it much is an interactive experience.
Yeah.
And that's
I mean,
kind of how it
the
is.
recent wave of games that we're seeing now, right? So like your Last of Us, your Uncharted, even like the Walking Dead games that we've had, for example. A lot of these recent games, for example, are bringing in the narrative and making the narrative a really focal point. The cinematic experience, like Heavy Rain, for example, Detroit Become Human was a little bit like that, even though it was very interactive. But the whole plot thing, plot devices in general in games are becoming very, very prominent.
Yeah.
But not to the extent where they're like, the plot writing in some of these games isn't like the level that you would see in plot writing in movies, for example.
Yeah.
So it's hard to translate it.
I think it's a lot of the time, these video games, like especially we're talking about the vast batch of video game movies that we have, a lot of them were based on successful franchises that we expected to do well. I think the issue is, a lot of the time with video games are a medium that's really hard to adapt into movies, I think, in general, because a lot of the games, you focus on the mechanics, and the plots and everything is more about, like, playing the actual game.
It's immersion.
It's immersion. You can't bring that
can't-
into a movie as a passive form of entertainment. Like, for example, with Bioshock, like, the entire point of Bioshock, everyone was like, oh my god, Bioshock would be an amazing movie. But
Right.
if you look at Bioshock as a game, as an experience, the reason why it's so good is because it's almost like it's about gaming itself. It's a criticism of that because it's like you don't have free will as a player. If you take away that element from the game, and if you just throw in, it's literally, it could potentially not be a good movie because you might just make Waterworld, for example. Like, it might not be good at all.
And you know what? I've sort of realized that they love trying to turn horror games into horror movies. Like horror gaming isn't already superior, in my opinion. Like the most exhilaratingly horrifying experience I've ever experienced is PT. Play with Pizza.
100%.
That game is incredible. I can't tell you guys enough how much you should play it and experience it. You probably can't though, because fuck Konami. But well, wait. Yeah, Konami. Anyways, the point is, if you try to turn that into a movie, it's just gonna be like, oh, okay. It's about the control and the immersive experience where you're in control, where you have to experience it. It's not the character in the film that's experiencing it. It's you, and you're in control, and you're gonna be scared shitless. And it's so good, so good. How do you translate that?
So then here's the question, right?
Yeah.
Will gamers be happy with movie game adaptations that don't necessarily try and take the plot, but adapt it like away from the source material, right? So I don't know, like the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people said that was really good.
It was actually quite good. It was a successful film, and I think they definitely did that because a lot of the time, video game plots are there for the video games to service your experience playing through. And a lot of these video game like playthroughs are 12, 14, 15, 20, 40 hours to maybe even 100 hours even. Like, how do you condense that into 2 hours, right? Like, and Sonic the Hedgehog, for example, they were like, all right, let's just take the character, let's take the basis of the character, what they mean, and adapt it. Obviously, they had the whole horrific Sonic the Hedgehog earlier. Luckily, they patched that pre-release.
Patched it.
And they fixed Sonic.
That's a good word.
It was a good film. It was a good like road trip kids movie. Like it was exactly what it was. I mean,
that point you make about like the fact that gameplay is like however many hours long is really true. Like, so I was watching a YouTube video for this podcast about like why do video game movies suck, and there was this one really funny scene where they were like, part of the reason why you can't make video games into movies is because like hours of the gameplay is just this, and it was just a scene from Uncharted where they're grunting and like jumping across boulders. It's like, how do you turn that bit into a movie? Because that's like the majority of it.
Yeah, or just running around in circles with your AK, just spraying and hoping you don't die, trying to find cover,
jumping up and down, just like trying to work out the controls of it.
Or just seeing like oh, if I fall off this cliff, will I die?
Yeah, I mean, you can't, obviously you can't reproduce that into movies, which is...
I mean, it could. I mean, it's just going to be Tom Holland as Nathan Drake climbing, and he plays as Spider-Man, so why not make the entire movie just Tom Holland climbing a wall?
It's I feel like it's a very different experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Playing a game and watching a film, two different experiences.
It's an interactive experience, and there are some terrible movies out there. Have you guys ever seen House of the Dead?
I played it. I'm pretty sure the same House of the Dead arcade machine since like 2001 exists.
So House of the Dead is possibly one of the worst movies I have ever seen in my life. It's currently sitting at Rotten Tomatoes at 3%. It's 1% higher than Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which
my favorite film as a kid
is on its own uniquely just amazing. In a bad way. Like, it's almost the Room level. But House of the Dead is almost that. And it's directed by a guy called Uwe Boll, who is notoriously bad as a filmmaker. And House of the Dead is probably, like, the worst of what you can imagine of, like, the peak early 2000s. With, like, post-90s weirdness, the goofy-ass hairstyles, and the fashion. And it's a really shit horror film. Like, it is hilariously bad. And there's intersections of that where they just cut the gameplay in. And I think, like, it's, like, set on an island where there's zombies and there's voodoo magic and there's, like, a Sega concert happening, kind of like a fire festival thing. And it's just so cheesy and goofy.
Sega concert?
And
Sega! Everyone's going Sega!
Cheaply made. And
Sega!
Sega!
Very close. Very close. And imagine, like, that early 2000s spiky hairstyle and just, like, that cringe. God. But this guy has made... many movies.
Download a car.
All of them are exclusively video game movies. He made Blood Rain. He made the Dungeon Siege movie. He made House of the Dead. And he made Alone in the Dark. All of which are in the worst movies ever made. And this guy actually was panned by critics. Uwe Boll. And it turns out he's a very controversial figure because he actually challenged a bunch of his critics to a boxing match, and there's a video of him beating the shit out of his critics.
No way.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah.
Where's he from?
What?
Where's he from?
He's
Is he from the
Germany.
States?
So as it actually turns out, one of the reasons, because I watched another video from the game theorists, right? So one of the reasons why they make bad movies, well, video game movies are bad, is because they don't give a shit. They don't want to make a good movie a lot of the time.
Uh-huh.
Especially during that time where they just churned out shovelware movie titles.
Yeah.
They mainly did it for tax reasons, because a lot of the movies produced were from Hollywood, right? So therefore, like, I think there was a particular law that allowed, basically, like, you didn't have to pay tax on a certain movie.
Right.
In the early 2000s, obviously it was rescinded if you were producing it in like Germany, because they wanted to push their, film industry a lot more. So this Uwe Boll guy basically made a shitload of terrible movies with shoestring budgets and made them so bad, and basically just profited off of that. So if it was a good movie, he'd make more money, which means he would actually have to pay more tax. So a bad movie would actually do him better service.
Wow.
That
But
is fascinating.
also, you need to watch these movies because they are terrible, or don't watch these movies because they are terrible.
I'll tell you what, though. Okay, we agree. So far, I think we've agreed that video game movies suck. There are maybe a couple of exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But here's what I will say, and I don't think this is controversial to say, but given the way that video games pan out, 100% TV adaptations are always better if you're trying to adapt a video game.
I agree.
Yeah.
Any examples?
Castlevania.
Oh, you love Castlevania.
I love
don't you?
Castlevania. It's so good.
I've heard good things about it, actually. I haven't seen it myself yet, but hey.
Did you watch The Witcher, Izza?
I thought about it because it gave me it gave me Game of Thrones-ish vibes, and I was kind of trying to fill in the void that the finale of Game of Thrones left me.
Yeah.
I think
don't
I
talk
must
about
have
that.
ended up watching something stupid like, I don't know, Daredevil or something instead.
That wasn't.
Yeah.
That was not stupid. That was a great series.
No, of course.
You did
I love
well.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
The Witcher,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, so a lot of people hated The Witcher for lots of reasons. I really liked it, right? So since playing the game, I became like obsessed with the Witcher world. So I ended up reading. I've actually read one of the first books that Shapkowski wrote. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Shapkowski.
Mike Wazowski.
Shapkowski. So I read the first book that he wrote for the Witcher series, and the TV show just basically adapts the book almost to the T. Whereas a lot of people who have only played the games, they hated the TV show because like, oh my god, this isn't. And a lot of those people as well, you'll find, will have only played Witcher 3 as well.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my god, why is this not the Witcher 3? This is so dumb.
I get it.
Because, okay, this is another thing though, right? So even though, fine, objectively we might argue that video game movies sucks, video game fans are annoying as fuck, right?
Yeah.
They'll want a movie adaptation. Oh my god, this would be sick as a movie.
Yeah.
And then it comes out and they'll fucking like pile on it all over the shit.
Yeah, I just don't want a lot of my favorite games to turn it into movies, which they are. We'll get onto that. But I mean, like, because most of the time it would just validate haters on that game and that franchise, and I'm just there like, yeah, but no one really wanted them. Like, you say, oh, I'd watch the shit out of that, and it comes out, I was like, oh, I'll probably download it off LimeWire or something.
Sounds
instead.
like
no one
Warcraft.
ever really.
Everyone
my
was
God,
really
Warcraft.
hyped about Warcraft, and then I watched it, and I was just disappointed. I was like,
You actually watched it?
yeah, I watched it. It was on Netflix, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try, because it was so hyped. They had a really good director attached to it. This previous guy, he directed Moon, so I was like, okay, they're really trying here. The world looks amazing. It looks vibrant. Like, they're really going for it. But
Yeah.
they still didn't land the mark, because a lot of the historically bad games were because like people didn't give a crap. Like the Super Mario movie the movie came out, that was completely off. And
sure
they
I wasn't
admitted
born.
that like they didn't actually care about video games or know or play any video games. Well, I don't even think they played Mario before making the Mario movie. Like, have you seen the Goombas? They look weird, and it was awful.
I wonder what would be better, Super Mario Brothers porn movies or the actual Super Brother Mario movies.
Oh, porn.
Oh, definitely the porn.
100%.
100%.
Something cleaning pipe reference.
Yo, Peach,
I don't know. He's a
Peach
plumber.
would-
There's an overlap there.
There's definitely an overlap there.
I feel like Azan's like a Peach man. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
No. I'm actually. You know what? I'm actually.
Waluigi. Yeah,
I'm a
do you know what?
Waluigi guy,
I was
yeah.
waiting for you to say that.
I'm a Waluigi guy. Yeah, I fucking love Waluigi. Why? Okay, here's another thing though. Right, I will say, some of my favorite films are not films like that are video game adaptations, but they're films about games or gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I'll give you two very perfect examples of this. In the Disney category, Wreck-It Ralph. I fucking love
Okay.
Love Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph is so good, man.
Really
it's so
good.
It's so nice to see those references and the whole world construction and stuff like that. And even Wreck-It Ralph 2 was really like I thought
seen 2.
Wreck-It Ralph. You should watch 2. It's so good because it's based on the internet. So like he did, Wreck-It Ralph goes from being all arcadey and shit to being connected to the internet and seeing the internet world. And the way they depict the internet in Wreck-It Ralph 2 is so amazing.
Wow.
So I love Wreck-It Ralph. So that that's a great example of one. Another example though. And this is one. You guys haven't seen this, but it's so good. Is Ready Player One?
I've seen it. I've read the book as well.
Seen it.
Yeah, you read the
Everyone
book.
keeps telling me to watch it.
It's so good.
It's probably really
It's
up
as
alley,
much hype sort of thing. I think it's like almost like it's a movie about fans of genre fiction and just like stuff in general. Like it's not just about video games. It's almost like if Sword Art Online was a good series.
Hey. Don't insult Asuna like that.
And there's
My
a lot of good
wife
stuff to it. Like they have video game references, a throwback to the 80s. It's directed by Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
And it's written by a guy who's a massive Spielberg fan, so it's almost like Steven Spielberg is directing his own fan fiction, almost. Yeah. And there are some insane moments in there where it's like video game movies, crossovers. It's like, it's a real like love letter to the kind of things that we grew up with playing, and I think that's really cool. And definitely an interesting watch. I will actually say that it is better than the book because the book wasn't all that great.
That's controversial. Yeah, a lot of people say the book is better.
But I will say the film is better than the book.
Right.
There is one example though of a film based on games that is not good, and that's Pixels.
Oh, it's an Adam Sandler movie.
Pixels.
Didn't look very good.
Pixels.
Yeah.
Was that the Disney Pixar?
It's a Disney one. It had Adam Sandler in it.
And Pac-Man and a bunch of...
Oh, yes, the huge Pac-Man. You keep seeing that everywhere. I remember in like 2018, right?
Yeah, it was so shit. It was so bad.
Fuck that.
That was really bad.
As you may be able to tell, I'm not really into like films in general, let alone video game films. I love video games. I love good films. But shitty video game films is like the last thing I want to watch, usually.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a question.
Right.
What is a video game that you think would make a very, if it was done well, would make a very good movie, but you don't want to be turned into one?
Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, well, got some bad news for you, my friend.
I know.
I think it could be good. But I don't know. Like, again, the Metal Gear Solid is also one of those Hideo Kojima ones, like PT, where, like, the experience is about playing the game, and the reason why they're so, like, celebrated is because it subverts your expectations of the genre, right? Like,
David hate his voice.
Yeah.
He needs to make a dub over. He needs to actually dub over the actor, because his voice was just so perfect for Snake.
Yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland... He was Snake in Ground Zeroes and stuff, right? And I don't know. I guess they didn't want to put him there because he doesn't look anything like Snake. But
well, all we know is Oscar Isaac could make a very good Snake. Right. He's a very talented actor, and who knows? And Kiefer Sutherland could actually be Snake still, like, or he could be like Cast. We don't know.
Oh, Big Boss.
Big Boss.
Shit,
who knows?
Shit, I forgot about that.
That'd be pretty cool.
But yeah, like, again, how do you make it not a generic crappy action movie? Because there's so many things about Metal Gear Solid that people love because, again, it subverts the genre expectations. Like when Psycho Mantis reads your game save file in the PS1, it's like, I see you've been playing Final Fantasy, and makes your controller vibrate using his telekinesis. Or like in Metal Gear Solid 4, when all of a sudden when you go to Shadow Moses Island, you go from PS3 graphics and you replay a level on the PS1, and it's like PS1 graphics.
So good, I forgot about that.
There are some memorable moments in there,
fuck
right?
me. Metal Gear Solid 4 is actually one of the best games. Have you played it, Azan? Oh no, sorry man. I'm still in my backlog, isn't it?
Like, if you take all the game elements out of it, will it make a good movie? That's my question.
But okay, look, here's the thing. I mean, the Metal Gear series has a fantastic plot. The issue is it's so big. It's the timing, isn't it? Right. So
Yeah.
part of the reason why Metal Gear's plot is so good is because, but also, okay, there's two problems. One is the problem where it's too long, which is that if you piece together all the Metal Gear Solid plot and put it all together, just, take the cutscenes and the story explanation, take out the gameplay, but you could just get the cutscenes and the story explanation, put that all together, what do you end up with? Either too long. The other problem is either if you piece it all together, you end up with very little in terms of plot. And I think that's probably the issue for writers when they do the show writing for a lot of these things. They probably end up with this problem of it being too long or too little. I feel like the solution is just to stick to what they've got and expand just a tiny bit. It doesn't require that much.
So
surely.
what I think is, on the flip side, I feel like it can make a very good film only because Hideo Kojima wanted to make the first real cinematic experience in gaming. He was trying to emulate a very cinematic feel in Metal Gear Solid for PS1, right? And he succeeded, and it really paved way for cinematic gaming in the future, right? And narrative-driven gaming and plots. Now, what I think, you're right about there's not enough time in a film to get a good, really deep, intricate plot in there, right? So now what I think they should do is they should have a bit more of a basic plot, but really make it a character study, like a personality, like really hone in on the character of Snake or Snake and a few allies and really work on the characters. Because at the end of the day, the best films / games, right? You don't remember the plot. I promise you now, you don't remember the plot points, right? Your favorite film, what is it? Let's on, go.
Akira.
Okay, do you... Okay, fine. Not Akira. You can probably remember the plot of that.
Okay, no, fine. Okay,
Another really good film.
Another really good film. No, but all of the films that I like are all plot-based.
Okay,
Yeah.
Adib. Give
You're
me one
gonna
of
get
your
the
favorite
same
films.
answer.
Akira. What?
No,
I was gonna say like one of my favorite films would probably be like Arrival or like.
Okay,
Stop
fine.
no,
Moving.
but
Basically,
I get what
you
you're
remember
saying.
the characters, right?
But I think
that's what
that
sticks out a lot.
I think that is more true in video games than it is in movies.
Yeah.
Like I get what you're saying, but I think that's more true of video games in the sense of like part of what makes video games so appealing
Right.
is that the character who you are in control of is the person that's like the thing that's so interesting.
Right.
You're invested in the character because you get to be the character, right? Whereas in a movie, like so certain movies, it revolves around a lot of characters. Like I definitely know what you mean. Like some movies, like the characters make the movie.
Yeah.
But certainly, I think this is more true of video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could definitely say that. So it's like maybe like a Quentin Tarantino film where the characters, the style, the aesthetic is far more like memorable than the plot. Like Reservoir Dogs, for example. Like I don't remember the plot. I remember like Mr. Orange, Mr. Blue, Mr. White, the music, the scenes. Yeah, fair. But like with video games, you remember the moments. Like best example would probably be like something like Skyrim, right? Like who remembers the plot of Skyrim? We remember our experience playing the game. And I think that's what another issue with movies, like games to movies, is your experience might be different to someone else's. Whereas when watching a movie, you will have the same shared experience because you're all experiencing the same thing. Like, Izhar, you could say that you had this experience going into a dungeon and some shenanigans happened in Skyrim and tell me that story. And I could never visit that dungeon. I'll have my own experience and story to tell when playing a game. And like a lot of the time we talk about what we did and this, that, and stuff. And that's something you can't really do in a movie because we're all watching the same thing. And I think like games kind of have much more of a personal element because you're putting yourself in the shoes of the main character. Whereas with a movie, you're watching a main character. Like a lot of first-person shooters, you're not really sympathizing with the character because you are the character. You just shooty, bang, bang, killing people or doing whatever, right?
Okay, example. Your name, Azan, okay? Do you remember the plot?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course I do. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
You know what? I don't remember the characters.
But you remember,
I remember the plot.
you remember those moments like when the pencil dropped, for example.
The interaction of the characters, right?
Yeah.
But fine, look. Seems like all of us seem like we're experts on like how to do writing. So I've got a little bit of a game for us.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's play a game. Let's see if we can make this work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
All right.
Right. So
Game on, bitch.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
fuck you.
welcome to the Triple Tap All Stars Gaming Battle Royale.
Right.
And I've got a little game for you guys. So
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna play a game. Okay.
Okay.
And what's gonna
Oh
happen
wow.
is.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So what's gonna happen is.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you.
I'm not if they can see this. Can they see this, by the way?
Well, they're not gonna be able to see the.
Okay.
Shared
What I'm
screen.
looking at right now is a wheel, and it has a bunch of character names on there. But anyways, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So basically, what's gonna happen is we're gonna pick out first of all a random character. Second of all, we're gonna pick out a random place, and third of all, we're gonna pick out a random object. And what you guys have to do, depending on who's gonna go first, and we're gonna flip a coin for this, is you guys have to come up with a plot for a movie that involve those three things. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. All right.
All right, fine.
Sure.
So let's flip a coin. Before I flip the coin. By the way, just so that our podcast, our audio listeners know, I'm about to flip a coin by asking Google to flip the coin for me.
Okay. Cool.
Which is probably it's a mark of how far we've come technologically. So before I press enter, is our heads or tails?
Heads. Always heads, baby.
No one has coins anymore because we all pay by card and NFC.
Oh, yep.
Apart
Okay,
from
it's
when
heads.
You're in Spice Hut.
Right,
Oh,
so
fuck.
it's heads. Okay, so you're going first.
No,
as
no,
well?
I get to choose now because I called it right.
Okay, you choose then.
Okay, I'll go first. because I already know that if Adib goes first, I'm scared because he will probably fuck me up in this game, and I want to go
Yep.
first, so I set the bar low enough.
Set the bar low. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I have no
right,
idea.
so I'm about to. Okay, I'm going to spin
Oh,
the wheel
fuck.
now.
Dude, I'm
okay?
seeing so many names here.
There's a lot of names here. Okay, ready? So let's go to spin the wheel.
Okay, my heart's actually beating. Like, what the fuck?
Let's see who you get. And it's Pikachu.
Pikachu.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Right, so Pikachu is your
been done.
Pikachu's your character. It's been done. So let's see if you can adapt it any better.
Oh fuck. Okay.
And-
Yeah, sure.
Pikachu's going to be set in.
In
No way.
Wembley.
Pikachu in
Bruh,
Wembley.
Say normal.
Oh my
Right,
God,
come
okay,
on
so
then.
Pikachu in Wembley.
Wait. Did you see that?
I can't believe it come up with Wembley. Okay, right. So then the final one.
Uh-huh.
This is the object.
Pikachu
okay?
in Wembley. By the way, this is so coincidental. But yeah, because there's like a million things on this. Oh my god, these ads are so annoying.
Okay, and it has to involve a partridge in a pear tree, given that it's Christmas.
What is this? Dude, this is such bullshit.
So you have got to come up with a movie plot. We're going to give you about 20, 30 seconds, right? You have to come up with a movie plot
What the fuck is a
that
partridge?
involves Pikachu.
What's a partridge?
A partridge is a bird, isn't it?
I think so.
Okay,
I don't know, I didn't grow
I
up
need more details
Christmassy.
of this bird. Apart from that stupid Christmas song. Okay. What's so special about this bird?
Okay, right. So according to Google, a partridge in a pear tree.
I fucking do you know what? I don't care. Let me just do it. Okay. What do I have to do?
Let's just assume that I mean, we might be getting this horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Adib, can you just check what a partridge in a pear tree is while we set this up, right?
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure a partridge in a pear tree. I think it's a bird, but just check, Adib. But I'm gonna, in the time that Adib's checking,
Yes.
just have a think, right? So you've got to think Pikachu, Wembley, and a partridge in a pear tree.
It represents Jesus. The partridge because it's a bird that will sacrifice its life. to
Okay,
save its
okay, now
children.
let's go.
Right, go on. Let's go. Okay.
What's my time limit? How long does it have to be? I guess it doesn't matter.
I'm going to put a timer up, and
For what? A minute, 2 minutes?
I'm going to give you a minute 30.
Fuck, okay.
Okay,
sure.
so in a minute 30, you have to pitch the best movie that you can
Yeah.
involving Pikachu, Wembley, and a partridge in a pear tree. Okay.
Okay.
Right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so for any of you anime watchers out there, and I guess a Pokemon was adapted into an anime as well, we have Pikachu. But what's a really big trend that's been happening in the anime industry recently? Isekai. And what does Isekai mean? Traveling to a different world. And yes, of course, we had that with the Detective Pikachu traveling to thing. But let's just say Pikachu was transported to a world, a really shitty world. The world of Wembley. Now, this is a working class, a very run-down area. Not like I have any personal experience with that or anything, right? But Pikachu has been transported there, and when he wakes up from his sleep paralysis, he got paralyzed by let's just say a Zapdos or something. Anyways, he's there, and all he sees on the ground is a note saying, "Find the pair, the rare, elusive pair." And then Pikachu's like, "Pikachu? Pika?"
And then he gets stabbed.
And then he embarks on this perilous journey across the plethora of immigrants on the way to Wembley Stadium. He's walking, and he does not recognize a single thing. But in the distance, what does he see? A tree. Not only is it a tree, there is a single pear on this tree. A rare pear. Because in Wembley, you don't get rare candies. You get rare pears because we're shit like that.
Right, you got 10 seconds. Wrap it up.
Oh, what happens is he goes there, and there is a gatekeeper, a partridge, this bird. And this bird ain't fucking about. This bird says, if you want to get past me, we have to fight to the death. Turns out, the bird, this partridge, is the second coming of Christ. The Antichrist. The world is about to end. This isekai is actually a post-apocalyptic world where the Antichrist partridge comes and Pikachu wasn't high enough level and gets severely fucked up by Jesus Antichrist partridge and did not obtain the pair. The end.
I was thinking of Alan
I am
Partridge.
so sorry. I am so sorry to everyone that had to listen to that. I am so sorry.
That was okay. That
It
was
wasn't
incredible,
easy.
though.
That like just thinking of something off
That's actually a lot harder than you think.
That was incredible. Okay, right. That before we get into quite exactly how that plot turns out, I want to see Adeem have a go now. Right. Okay. Right. Adeem.
Okay. Oh god. Here we go.
It's gonna be your turn now. So let's spin the wheel.
All right.
And your character is Spyro.
The dragon. Okay.
Yay.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So you've got Spyro, and he's going to be based in
Nigeria. The pub.
the pub.
pub.
In
The pub.
Okay.
I was really hoping that your mum's house would come up, but it didn't. Okay. And the object that he must use is
Brexit. Oh, it's so close to your mum.
Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme.
Spyro,
So-
the pub, and Krispy Kreme. Okay.
So
That sounds like a
right.
good night out. Wow.
Sounds like a fantastic night out. Right.
night out. Yeah.
So basically, Adeeb, then as I'm introducing this segment, you're gonna have to think about this, but we're gonna hear a movie pitch from you about Spyro, the purple dragon. If that, in case people didn't know who Spyro was, and it's based in the pub, and it involves Krispy Kreme donuts.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Wait, quick. Original glazed or filled or
Original glaze,
Hey,
of course.
That's up to him. That's up to him. Shit.
Hey,
Yeah.
he's the
Yo,
writer, dude.
alright.
He's got the.
Let's get it. Let's hear it.
All right.
All right. Okay. 1 minute 30. Off you go.
Okay, so with Spyro, he grows up, in a world where the dragon is always vilified, right? And obviously coming into the isekai, well, okay, this is also an isekai. So, this dragon, Spyro, leaves his home world and then discovers a world with no dragons somewhere in the UK.
Oh no.
And he sees that dragons are vilified in the UK because all the pubs and everything, like St. George and the dragon and all of that, have him slaying the dragon. And he doesn't like this. He wants to rebrand the dragon. Dragons aren't green, they're purple. And he decides that he's going to take action against these pubs and have the dragon go be the victor and tell everyone how crap of a person St. George was. And he was like, yeah, this guy wasn't it. Dragons are cool. You don't need to slay them. And he's going to find and scour the world for any remaining dragons, knowing that they were all wiped out by the knights. And to do this, he rallies his supporters, old Dave from the pub and everyone else. And they realize, how are we going to, sponsor this cause? We're
I did not expect it to go.
going to go to Tesco, set up a stall, get some Krispy Kreme donuts from the Tesco stall and sell them. And be like, look, us dragons, we don't hoard gold, we're like grassroots.
Fundraising.
And we're going to rebrand, and you're going to help me scour the world looking for the last dragon, but because I'm a dragon, I have no money, so, yeah.
That was the most realistic take.
Like, okay.
It's supposed to be an allegory for the immigrant experience,
And it just involves a really shit fundraiser where he sells Krispy Kremes
so that he could take legal action against these pubs.
Yep, against Dave from the pubs
money for the legal
who looked down on the
requirements.
dragons, saying that the dragons are crap. It's really.
Oh my god! Right. So okay, I'm meant to be judging which one I think is shitter, or rather better, but both of them are so fucking shit.
Yep.
To be fair, 130 goes really quickly. I didn't expect it to go that quickly.
Oh, yeah,
I was
it
really
goes quickly.
setting the scene, and then out of nowhere,
you were
it was
taking
like,
so much time, and then eventually, what I love is I hurry you up, and then you're like, oh yeah, he gets killed by Jesus. So basically, in your movie pitches, Pikachu wakes up in Wembley and then gets shanked by Jesus. That is
yeah,
movie
pretty
pitch,
much.
right? And then Adib's
partridge.
movie pitch is Spyro runs a fundraiser for dragons with his mates from the pub.
And to do that, he used original glaze, a dozen share box.
Maybe come up with better prompts and objects,
To be fair, those were fantastic props, and then I got Wembley. Or what the fuck?
What am I supposed to do with Krispy Kreme and a pub?
There was some fantastic.
Rigged.
I think that this demonstrates.
You East London twats.
Listen,
fuck you,
all this
okay?
demonstrates.
I'm upset.
All this demonstrates is that despite all of our fucking pontificating, you guys could not write a fucking movie.
Okay, here's the thing, right? The first draft for screenplays are always redone over and over again until the story is tight.
Okay.
All right, this wasn't even a draft. This was a prompt.
1 minute, 130. You go right now, okay?
Okay, am I going now as well? Okay,
Spin
fine.
it right now.
Fuck it.
Spin it right now and go. Spin it right now
I
and
don't give
go.
a fuck about time. I'm gonna go as well.
Quick,
Right, come on.
spin it right
let's go.
now. Also, I have 4 minutes, but spin it right now.
Okay, right. So, okay, I'm gonna do it as well. Fine, let's do it.
Go for it. Wow,
Of course,
Drive.
of course, you get Cloud.
Okay.
There we
Just
go.
Drive.
Okay, so I got one of my favorite characters, Cloud. Okay, fine. And Cloud is in the Void.
The Void.
The hell is the Void?
Okay.
That's just
The Void.
Okay.
The Void.
Fell off the Game of Thrones.
Okay.
But hey.
And then he has to.
What?
The object is pen 15.
Oh, okay.
Pen 15 is PAN.
This is all coming full circle. We started talking about uncircumcised penises, and now it's pen 15.
It's come
Oh my
all
God.
the way
Okay,
back round.
okay.
It's come all the way back round.
Do you know what? Fuck this. Who's timing it? I'll time it. 3, 2, 1, go.
So, the void, an empty land, an empty nothingness. And so, wanders lonely our hero, Cloud Strife. After his final battle with Sephiroth, he wasn't killed, he wasn't sacrificed, but he was sent to the void. He wanders and meanders around this void in an empty, meaningless hope for search of life. And suddenly, after years of what felt like years, but in reality is probably like 2 minutes because of the way that time works, comes across this magical item, the pen 15. A pen shaped like a massive cock. And what must Cloud Strife do in order to escape the void and defeat Sephiroth once and for all? He must write with the pen 15 until pen 15 explodes from joy, because it's also a penis, but it's also a pen. So Cloud begins to write a lot of stuff like I think he writes like maybe he writes like the Bible out or something. I don't know. So that he writes it out, and then then he realizes that no, this isn't working. So then he writes out Sephiroth's name, and the minute he writes Sephiroth's name, the pen explodes, and he's transported back into the real world, and then we see the fight unfold between him and Sephiroth. The ultimate battle for the ages.
Your time is over, and I think
That
it's
was
between me
somehow
and Adib.
worse.
I think
Both of us.
it's so bad. Cloud has a penis, and he's going through puberty, and he had a wet dream. He had a wet dream by Sephiroth. Oh, that sword is so long. Sephiroth, please choke me, Sephiroth.
Listen, that's fucking better than Jesus killed Pikachu.
What do you mean? Partridge Pear Tree means Jesus. Fucking Wembley, dickhead. Nutboard, bitch.
So, right, what all of this has proven in the end, I suppose, is that even though video game movies suck, we certainly couldn't do a better job ourselves.
And whatever sucks more than a video game movie is Cloud Strife in Azan's 1.5 minute impromptu story where he sucks off Pen 15 while fantasizing about Sephiroth.
That's Final Fantasy, okay?
That's fanfic,
Really
Final
is.
Fantasy fan
I'm sure there's a fan fiction.
that is the Final
about
Fantasy.
that. Oh,
And
God,
on that
was
note,
fun.
thank you so much for listening to our podcast, guys.
Thank
Had a
you.
good
Yeah,
time.
no. Thank you guys for listening. If you made it to the end, you guys are amazing.
For many reasons.
For many reasons, yeah.
As in, if you stayed after the uncircumcised joke right at the beginning,
Yeah,
you
we
really
applaud
are.
you.
We do applaud you.
We really applaud you.
But yeah.
Right, that's all we have from Triple Tap Gaming. Tune in next time. Thank you very much. See ya.
Thank you. Bye.
Sega!
Sega! Sega!